You keep on interrupting me, young man, and I may not finish this story.
Well, that's the best news we've had so far.
The story gets better as it goes along.
Well, it can't get worse, all right. Yeah. Now,
Charlie McCarthy lived a life many would envy, hobnobbing with the rich, flirting with the Hollywood elite. But like many of his entertainment compatriots, his star isn't on Hollywood Boulevard, but in Fort Mitchell, Kentucky. It may not be the most glamorous retirement home, but it is the most exclusive. The Vent Haven Museum is the only ventriloquist museum in the world.
Vent Haven Museum was established and founded by a man named William Shakespeare Berger. He lived from 1878 to 1972. He was not a ventriloquist. He was on a business trip in New York in 1910. He saw a little dummy sitting in a store window, thought it was a cute novelty, picked it up, brought it home, showed it to his wife, and put it away. So that was the first dummy. As far as we know, he did not get another dummy until the 1930s, but by 1947, he had 100 of them.
As Mr. Berger's collection grew, so did the additional buildings and the publicity. Upon his death in 1972, the private collection was transformed into a public museum.
He knew what he was doing, for sure. He was a visionary, and he was very deliberate in what he was doing while he was here. He accomplished his goal in that this is the center of the ventriloquial world. It is a beloved place by ventriloquists everywhere. You can't be in ventriloquism for 15 minutes without hearing about Vent Haven Museum. When Mr. Berger died in 1972, he had 500 dummies, and today we have 840. We still get 5 to 10 dummies donated a year, so it's an ever-growing collection. Every ventriloquist or family member of a ventriloquist wants to be represented here. It is the only museum of its type in the world. Mr. Berger was very determined to bring the ventriloquist community together, and in fact, Vent Haven was nicknamed the Mecca of ventriloquism at one point, which was sweet. He wanted ventriloquists to know that if they donated their dummies to the museum, that the dummies would be cared for. They'd be clean, they would be displayed, but that they wouldn't be handled. Out of professional respect, they all do have a personality and a voice that the ventriloquists developed. And we, out of respect for those ventriloquists, allow that to stand for itself in film or wherever. We don't animate the dummies or give them any kind of voice at all.
Visitors can step into history, tracing ventriloquism from Edgar Bergen to Sherry Lewis, from Paul Winelich to Jeff Dunham, not just through faces, but also thousands of photos, props, posters, and correspondences Mr. Berger painstakingly preserved in order to share the rich history of ventriloquism with generations to come.
It's been around since the 18th century. There was a time when people would do ventriloquism and not even have a dummy. They would learn how to do it and then go to seances or other environments where a secondary voice would come from some inanimate object. And then in 1772, a man wrote a book that explained what ventriloquism really is, that anyone can learn to do it. It's sound substitutions, misdirection. And then through vaudeville, ventriloquism was more like a magic trick. It was a performance art. How well can I deceive you into thinking that this little dummy's alive and that he's talking and not me? Eventually, though, when Edgar Bergen came along, it really changed everything for ventriloquists in that Bergen was the first one really to develop a character. Charlie McCarthy's personality became so distinct and defined that it separated from Bergen completely. So from that point on, really, it became more of a comedy team, and character development is a big deal. And oftentimes ventriloquists will get criticized if the voices are too close or the personalities are too close or there's no nice separation of entity there. If you can watch people watching a ventriloquist and they're watching the dummy and engaging in that, and then the ventriloquist at will let down that illusion, and you'll remember, oh, that's right, I was listening to a dummy talk. Like when you watch a magician, just allow it to be there. It's a neat little thing to do. It is under the entire umbrella of puppeteering, you've got this sliver of people who choose to do puppeteering as ventriloquists. I just think it's a loss when anything like ventriloquism goes away. You want to have a rich experience and a rich history in entertainment and not just be, just singers or just dancers. There's room for everybody. And I think people appreciate the diversity, seeing something different.